And members of Congress have been up in Washington for a couple of weeks, for the first couple of weeks of the year, and they've got some big issues ahead of them.
And this morning, Majority Whip Steve Scalise joins us with an update, and thank you so much for joining us.
Great to be with you. Good morning.
Good morning. I know you have a lot on your plate right now, and one of the concerns is flood insurance. And how do you keep the flood insurance rates from going up when the National Flood Insurance Program is $24 billion in the hole?
Yeah, you know, we dealt with this 2 years ago, and a lot of the problems with the flood insurance program, you can go back to Katrina when, of course, you had billions of dollars of claims paid. But over decades, Congress had been raiding that fund. Sounds a lot like Social Security. The program had actually built up a surplus for a long time, but Congress raided that money to spend on other things and never put an IOU in the kitty, and so it shows a big deficit. The thing is, we put some reforms in place 2 years ago. From, in essence, pricing people out of their own homes. It was going to be an unworkable program.
You think you can keep those in effect, that hold?
Yeah, we're working on putting the coalition together again later this year so that we can address it, make some more reforms, make the program more solvent, and also try to encourage a private marketplace for flood insurance while not people to sell their own homes.
Because a lot of people thought that this had been taken care of when you guys did this last time, but that was just a stopgap measure until you could get some more permanent plans.
That's correct. It's a short-term plan that expires next year. And again, I don't want to see us wait until the midnight hour. So in 2016, when again there is a very wide bipartisan majority in Congress that wants to get this fixed the right way.
And almost every state is affected by this.
Yeah, you saw large numbers of Republicans and Democrats come together because it literally would have affected almost every state in the country. Clearly, it would devastate South Louisiana, but when you look even in the Midwest, you know, I had colleagues from Colorado when they had flooding last year telling me this was a real problem in their state.
And now you had an op-ed piece in the Advocate recently in which you talked about regulations on the oil industry that hold back jobs. When you look at the situation with the falling oil prices, this is something that, in fact, that's the international market that's affecting these oil prices and affecting our market, right?
Absolutely. You know, one of the things we were able to get done just a few months ago was to lift the ban on oil exports. You're already seeing Louisiana benefit from that. So, you know, for decades, Congress had a law that blocked us from competing against OPEC. OPEC had literally the market cornered on selling oil internationally, so we finally removed that barrier. But domestically, there are problems. A lot of the Outer Continental Shelf in the Gulf of Mexico is still closed to exploration, where there are people that want to go out there and explore for oil. You've got even some of these rules and regulations coming out, this latest, what's called the well control rule by the Department of Interior that would make it very difficult to drill in the deep waters of the Gulf of Mexico. Doesn't make any sense, actually hurts safety, and we're trying to get the department to reverse that ruling. So there's a lot of battling going on those kind of regulations that jeopardize America's national security and hurt Louisiana's economy.
And you, like other Republicans, came out strongly opposed to President Obama's executive orders on gun control. And even he admitted that what he's doing would not have solved the problems that are going on. But he says at least something's got to be done.
Well, if you want to do something, go after ISIS. You know, the shootings in San Bernardino, from our own experts, tell us that it was terrorist-related, tied to ISIS, and yet the president hasn't laid out a strategy to defeat them. So, you know, you have this in San Bernardino that's terrorist-related, and the president's reaction is to try to take away and limit the rights of law-abiding gun owners. It's not the answer. The president himself acknowledges what he's proposing wouldn't even solve the problem, but the president can't change the Second Amendment in the Constitution. He can't just write some new law on paper and then just do it. So we're going to fight anything he tries to do, and ultimately he's not successful, but it just shows he ought to be focusing on the real problem, come up with a real strategy, working with a lot of the Middle Eastern countries like Jordan. I was with the King of Jordan last week. He's been very aggressive in rooting out ISIS in his country, and with some of the coalition nations there. They want to see the United States more aggressive in helping them, those Arab nations, and this president's not doing that.
All right, Congressman, thank you very much.
Great being with you.